Kemi, I want to come to you first. We've been speaking about this. What have you noticed about the shift in the role of the treasurer, and how has technology been part of that?
Thanks for that. I mean, it's a brave new world, and the possibilities of technology is just endless. I mean, with digital technology shaping the world in which we live in and work, what I've just seen is the fact that we as treasury professionals are sitting right there in the middle of a digital ecosystem, and we pretty much have no choice but to evolve. So as technologies evolve, the skills of the treasury function as well has had to adapt accordingly.
James, tell us a little bit about what you've seen. How has it evolved from your perspective?
I kind of think that, looking back, the systems that we had in place, were certainly adequate enough, worked just fine. Would I like to play for a little bit more technology across this? Yes, for sure, definitely. I think that sort of, that probably would have helped us somewhat. So I think kind of the next phase is really, look, I'm not going to be going back to picking out my baggage from the safe from my cupboards that I had before. Don't need it. But however, I do just need to adapt kind of our way of working now, just to, because it's got to have to be fit for purpose for the next 5-6 years, I think now. We're not going back, are we? That's the thing.
I mean, the Treasury has been evolving at such a fast pace, accelerated by pandemic. But you look 10 years, we were starting to have system. We have data insight, like Kemi has said. We have new regulation, PSD2 open banking. We have we have really new payment type, instant payments. So it's really interesting for us that we want to innovate. We want to bring the best product, the best solution to exchange with you. So I'm really excited about this session today.
There's going to be so much data that the treasurers have to integrate and look at. They don't know where to start, really. So I think what we're seeing is actually technologies have newer front ends which enable them to analyze it and view it in simple terms. But also what we're seeing now in conversations at the very start of talking to treasurers is they often have software engineers and data engineers with them in the discussions. So it's no longer just us trying to convince the treasurer to buy the system. It's also now speaking to technology, speaking to the data teams of saying, where can we plug in? Do you have open access? Is it microservices built on APIs? So we're now having to have much more in-depth conversations of how treasurers can access the data within softwares. And I think that's a big shift. Because there is so much, it is effectively the oil now of all businesses, and they want to move through and get access to it. And if you don't have the ability to view data, you're going to be left behind.
Kemi, I want to come back to you now. And we were talking a little bit there about how everything's changing around you guys and the new ecosystem you're looking at. I want to quickly think about how you guys are upskilling yourselves in that space, because you and I were talking about the next generation of treasurers, and you were saying to me, well, it's not the next generation that needs to be upskilled because they're all coming into this ecosystem. It's the people that are currently in charge who are suddenly facing this whole new avalanche of things around them. So tell me a little bit about that.
To me, we talk about data intuition skills, most importantly. How can we identify data that will result into actionable intelligence? How can we manipulate the data into insights that then provides entry-level understanding to the people that are going to use the data? So which means that for the existing treasury function, we need to be agile in our learning. We need to be inquisitive. We need to be curious. We need to use all the sort of various forum platform that is out there to learn. For example, I use LinkedIn Learning almost 30 minutes every day to do any form of agile thinking, top up on my existing skills. I'm very much interested in robotics. I'm interested in AIs. I'm interested in machine learning. And what I do is make sure that, I'm linked to many organizations that run different webinars, different seminars, just to top up on my knowledge and be the subject matter expert that takes it back to the team.
I went to a seminar given by Pricewaterhouse, which was not meant for treasurers initially. It was more finance general on what can RPA and AI do in finance. And despite me asking them if they had done anything in Treasury and them telling me no, I thought I can see things where it can be applicable for my Treasury staff.
So at the beginning, we looked at the poll around anti-money laundering. So I want to come to either Charlotte or Tom to speak about the work that you guys are doing in this space and respond to what we're seeing there. IML
and watch list is becoming more and more important, is a tick box that you want to have from an audit perspective. It's a reputational risk. It is very close to mitigating the risk on fraud. In our platform at Bottomline, we have those solutions that are embedded with everything you do, whether it's a TMS, payments, connectivity. We offer those two tools that are anti-money laundering, watchlist screening, and the anti-fraud, which is AI, based on machine learning and artificial intelligence that's going to flag those transactions.
What impact is data and analytics having on your role at the moment?
Where I really can see value for me is that that a lot of our forecasting is based on drilling into systems, ERP systems. That gives you half the story. Other half the story through receipts and collections is a little bit more difficult. We've got many millions of customers billed monthly, but actually digging into that business analytics data that's been used to help make strategic decisions, that's my best source of information. So it's just trying to bend that a little bit just to meet our needs.
I would add that with banks there are lots of and even other techie providers, there are lots of opportunities of co-creation. If we want to invest the time, they are more than happy to get our feedback, to incorporate, and it's a way to be more demanding and have things that work for us better, and they are very happy because if they can satisfy us, it will satisfy other customers. It just takes the effort and the time to want to do that, but we've been very successful in several of our co-creations, sometimes it's just a matter of ask for it.
For years we've been told by our banking partners, oh, we're going to develop this report, we're going to develop this functionality. But even today, the most we've got, which is not bad actually, considering that they weren't going to do that in the first place, is digitized signatures. A year ago, just over a year ago, none of our banking partners were prepared, certainly not here in Europe. US obviously slightly ahead because they use DocuSign anyway, and they have IBAN and so on and so forth. So my challenge and what I say to the banks is, look, you really need to up your game, because I think it was James that alluded to this earlier. We're not going to go back. There's no question about that. So now it's about getting that functionality, and we can see the technology around us. So from a treasurer's perspective, I think that's kind of what I'd like to see more, let's say corporates, treasurers, pushing the agenda with their banking partners, and to some degree the vendors. But I think the vendors are doing what they can and should be doing. When
Kemi or Royston speak about digitalization, I think it's inevitable. I think I don't think in the next 2 years any treasurer will still use web banking and Excel and download it. Maybe I'm dreaming, but I don't think there will be any more. I think the technology is there. This is the last round of merging, assessing, and going there. I think again you have to trust your vendors. It's so great to see all of your individual initiatives to get there. We do webinar and seminar like this one, but also sort of a customer to anticipate those regulations to guide our client into this kind of audit of things. The tools are doing that. They used to do the basic things. They do much more. They got to do much more, leveraging data insight, actionable decision-making assistance, immediate. It's exciting. It's moving at fast pace. It's the future, and we're here to help.